Let's get physical. It's Jordan here, back in with this week's update. All the physical releases coming to the Switch, June 26th until the 30th. Now this week we're doing something a bit different. Of course, we're taking a look at this week's physical releases, but also in the second half, we're going to be taking a look at the Nintendo Directs that happened last week. And I'll be telling you all of the games that were announced in there that are getting physical releases. At least that's announced so far. Alright, it's going to be a big one. Strap in. Master Detective Archives Raincode is a fascinating looking game. It's written by the same dude as the creator of the Danganronpa series, and he's definitely going for that vibe in the art style, but this time it's fully 3D, and you can walk around and do all your detective work, gather clues and that stuff. There's even boss battles as such. There's a lot going on in this one, and I'm here for it. Really quite interested, and I hope the reviews turn out positive for it. We'll have to see, I guess, but the pedigree is strong. And our executive producers Alexander Cato and Thorn Metal Luna have chosen this as their pick of the week. And if you want to order this or any of the retail releases in this week's episode, then check the links in the description, especially if you live in North America. VGP is a great way to support us. They have free shipping over 8 Canadian bucks, and if you purchase anything with our links, you can be in with a chance of winning a $10 discount coupon each week. Yeah, and this week's winner is Thai Tea. Congratulations, you will get an email from VGP in the coming days with your discount coupon. Thank you for your support. Story of Seasons: A Wonderful Life is a remake of my favorite Harvest Moon game, and by that I mean the one that I played as a kid. Yeah, I had this on my GameCube. I never got far in it because I wasn't much of a hard-working businessman as an 11-year-old, nor was I good with the ladies. Although to be fair, I'm just as rubbish at those today. I still feel shy when my wife decides to talk with me. This is pretty much the same game, but they added more marriage opportunities for different genders, and I believe they added some small new areas. If I was going to play one of the new Story of Seasons games, it would be this one. And our executive producers Jennifer M, JCross7776 and Parsnip Coffee have chosen this as their pick of the week. Everybody Want to Switch is what the host of the party brings out when he's had enough and wants everyone to leave. Everybody want to piss off home, and don't you dare take the leftover beer with you. I heard this game was finished years ago, but Nintendo was too embarrassed or too worried to release it to spoil the Switch party. This would put a downer on any release schedule. Now apparently like 100 people can play this online or something. I don't know, I didn't really look into it because I'm not interested at all. Little Friends Puppy Island is a sequel to the soulless Nintendogs wannabe. The original Juan reviewed and found it boring, although it is one of our most watched videos of all time because there is no justice in the world. Nobody wants to watch the Booba Ghost review, but yeah, 200,000 people want to watch a puppy catch a frisbee. What's going on? Of course, it's been many a year, and it's entirely possible the developers have learned and improved. Who knows? Obviously, we're not going to review it because why give the people what they want? Charade Maniacs is another Otome. I'm sure Otome fans will scream at me, but how about slow it down a little bit? Charade Maniacs is another one which I'm not entirely too sure what to say about it. Dating dudes has never been so easy on the Nintendo Switch. AEW Fight Forever is a mildly anticipated release, mainly for the fact it's a wrestling game made by Yuke's, the Japanese team that made WWE/F games since time immemorial, prior to being unceremoniously dumped from the series in 2017, at which point wrestling games took a nosedive right into the dumpster fire territory. So yeah, it may not be a World Wildlife Federation game, it's more like the wrestling you'd find in your dodgy uncle's garage every weekend after he's cleared away the corpses of the prostitutes he's murdered, but it's promising. And if you miss older wrestling games and you don't care about the lack of Stone Cold Steve Austin, sorry, my wrestling knowledge is still stuck in the late 90s, then take a look at this. And our executive producers Issa and God of Resin have chosen this as their pick of the week. Noob, the Factionless is probably releasing in Europe this week. Looks like North America may have to wait a little while. Why? Because it's microids. It's easier to align the stars than align their release dates in different regions. Looks like a cheap, simple RPG, probably quite harmless in the grand scheme of things, but Steam reviews seem fairly positive about it. Mostly from French people being happy about a game being developed there that isn't by Ubisoft. Classic Racers Elite. Oh man, am I reluctant to talk about this one since it's a release where the placeholder date has tripped me up too many times. but I really do think this is the week, guys. And if it's not, well, I'm never mentioning it again, because let's face it, it ain't worth the effort for a game like this, from the horrendously generic name and logo all the way up to the gameplay itself. UnMetal is releasing in Europe this week. It does not look like North America is getting it, which is a shame because it's a fun looking Metal Gear parody. It'll be like the NES game, only good. Solid mechanics, good visuals, and supposed to be quite funny, which I'll take with a grain of salt. But hey, Americans, if you need some Metal Gear, you may want to import this one. There's a standard edition and a collector's edition because it's Tesora, and everything deserves a collector's edition according to them. Otoko Cross Naked Remix is another European exclusive because it's another fun box game in partnership with East Asia Soft. This time, instead of busty anime ladies playing mahjong, it's cross-dressing effeminate dudes playing mahjong. Now, there's nothing wrong with that, it's just slightly more specialized, I would say. Of course, there's exclusive nudity in this physical release, so you can see their shriveled cocktail wiener in all its glory. Although I am guessing they're a fan of tuckage, so maybe you won't see it all, I have no idea. North Americans, import this one because of course it's only in Europe. Goodbye World is supposedly releasing this week in Europe. Maybe North America has to wait until next week. It's supposed to be a good game, but less than 2 hours long, as you play through a game that the main characters are developing, as you follow their story trying to survive as game developers. A nice concept, seems like something that was made from experience. We all love a good pity party. RayStorm RayCrisis HD Collection is a dog turd release. Not that the games aren't good or anything, they're pretty awesome, but because once again, it is in-games butchering a strictly limited release for the retail peons out there. They want all the damn cake, and they will try anything to stuff it in their greedy little cheeks, even if they look embarrassing while doing so. They took games out of the retail release. Just buy the Japanese version, guys, it has more games, and you don't need to support my least favorite publisher out there. Yeah, I dislike in games and strictly limited more than limited run, which is saying a lot if you watch this series like quite a while. Anyways, our executive producer, he don't care, Instacritic, it's his pick of the week. Moonscars looks to be a game we've seen a million times already. Dark, side-scrolling, visually impeccable, probably really well made, but not something I could bring myself to play, which tells you how kind of tired I am of these games. Sorry, I'm miserable. I got horrendous sunburn over the weekend on my shoulders, and I'm just a grumpy mofo right now. Akka Arrh, I'm pretty sure is the name of my local Indian takeaway back in England, and coincidentally, it's also a Jeff Minter game. That dude is a fan of a curry or two, so it all makes sense. It's his usual style of tripping balls in an arcadey style way, and you may remember Limited Run already put pre-orders out for this one quite a long time ago, but this is the European retail release. Crime O'Clock looks to be releasing in Europe this week. North America, something of a theme. You may have to wait a couple of weeks for this one before you can get your hands on it. This is a puzzle adventure that looks hard to describe. Where's Wally, but with a bit more to it. I don't know, solve like 40 cases by doing stuff and finding things. Do it all in distinct eras that are rendered completely indistinct by the black and white art style. Celeste is finally getting its much needed retail release after being locked away to limited run for many years. It was one of their bigger releases, but prices online have been crazy due to sheer demand. Even the Japanese release was sold out and expensive, so here we are. Sadly, the new cover art is a bit crap, but whatever, Limited Run can keep their awesome box art. And our executive producers Offphone, Cartoon Soren and Alex M chosen this as their pick of the week. Alright, The Low Prince Ruggnar is Red Dot Games' latest Switch physical release, available to pre-order right now. This is an action platformer where there are no enemies, but there are plenty of hazards to dodge and try just not to die, you know. Just like middle-aged house husbands, this dwarf is also partial to the odd candle or two. I don't think they're scented with vanilla or lavender, but they do help solve puzzles. If you want to pre-order this, you can check out redoutgames.com with our links below and use the code SWATCH10 for 10% off. And if you don't want that, but you live in North America, VGP will also carry some of the European version. Links for both are below, and you can support us at the same time. Thank you. Tabs is Super Rare's latest Switch release. Tabs apparently stands for Turnips Are Badass Sex Toys. Totally Accurate Battle Simulator. This was a bit of a phenomenon when it released on Steam, but I don't think many people took notice of the Switch version. It's one of those wonky physics games where ragdolls are supposed to be hilarious. You can pre-order this on Thursday, 4,000 copies are available. Last Labyrinth, Ludocity Lost, is Strictly Limited's latest release. These are VR games that are no longer VR games, which makes the mediocrity all the more painful. It's a game that was labeled Ico mixed with the Saw film franchise, which sounds pretty decent. It's an escape room style puzzle thing, and it probably worked well for what it was developed for, but when they realized, hang on guys, we should try to earn some actual money and make the VR less important, it just lost its raison d'etre. So whatever, 3,000 copies available between a standard and collector's edition. Pre-orders open right now. Bear's Restaurant plus Fishing Paradiso is Limited Run's only game this episode and contains a game I asked for. Yeah, remember like late last year I did a video about games I wanted physically. Well, Fishing Paradiso was one of them, so that's cool. But now there's some shit box art with two completely different games smashed together. Who cares about making new, unique, beautiful box art? Yeah, I don't care about the Bear's Restaurants, despite like many people saying that's even better, but I don't care about people and their opinions. Well, except yours, obviously. I care about your opinions, okay? Alright, the imports PlayAsia territory. If you want to import any of the games shown in this section, check the links below. PlayAsia will always be the #1 way to support us. Thank you ever so much. If you click our link, we can also support you by giving you a nice discount, 5% off with our code SWTV23. Just remember to click the link first. That's how to support us, okay? Ghost Trick Phantom Detective is the big one this week. Yeah, Ghost Trick from Capcom is only releasing physically in Japan and Asia, but it does have English, so it's perfect for importing. It's what is considered an all-time classic on the Nintendo DS. It now has new art, and I've been told it fits perfectly with the kind of games I like. I believe it was made by the same person who is more famous for creating the Phoenix Wright series, and even more impressively, directing Dino Crisis 2? Okay, maybe not. I just found that out recently for a bit more, Jordan. I'm working on Dino Crisis, and that just surprised me. Anyways, grab this, adventure game fans, and our executive producer, Vay. He's excited, it's his pick of the week. Grisaia, another Phantom, Trigger 5.5 to 8, one for those who love visual novels. Finally, we get a conclusion to the Phantom Trigger series. Each one is about like 3 hours a pop, so yeah, between the two volumes together, that's a pretty big narrative. Obviously, there's English here, otherwise I wouldn't be talking about it. And if you own Volume 1, you'll probably want this one too. And our executive producer, Robotech, is his pick of the week. Ikaruga is getting its re-release in Japan this week. And obviously, because the publisher is dumb, it's sold out again already. Like, give us a chance, guys. Also, Japan is getting these games as well. None of them have English, but we will get a few of them releasing in the West eventually, so just hold tight, alright? Alright, that's all of this week's games done. Holy crap, that was kind of insane. My voice is hurting already, but we're not done yet. Replacing the Community Spotlight this week, we're taking a look at the Nintendo Direct, specifically all the games in it that will be getting physical releases that we know of. And if you want to pre-order any of them, please check the links below. You can support us, of course. Now, it started off with Pokemon DLC, so let's ignore that and jump into Sonic Superstars. This was not a new announcement, it was announced before the Direct, but here we got another look at it. And it looks alright to be fair, but you can never know for sure. Obviously, it's getting a physical release and hopefully no download codes in sight. Persona 5 Tactica is another example of Atlas bleeding Persona 5 dry. Bloody hell, guys, I thought they rinsed Persona 4 a bit much. This is something else. It looks decent though. A tactical RPG. I do worry about your squad size. I really hope there's more than like 3 units. I'm sure it's good though. Just disappointed they didn't mention like Persona 3 Remake in this Direct. I'd like that. Detective Pikachu Returns, finally coming back. Way too late to be of any significance with the movie as a tie-in, but hey, they probably only started working on it when that movie was a success. This looks alright, visually very basic. Like, where's the atmosphere, guys? I'm sure the story and mysteries will be good. Super Mario RPG was probably the big announcement for me. Unfortunately, this announcement was spoiled for me by some needy attention seeker on the internet, so it had way less impact and overall made the Direct feel very average, since I was already expecting it. But loser leakers aside, I think so many people are excited about this one, since it's one of those games that Nintendo like only once in a while re-release it. It takes them forever to do so, a bit like Earthbound. They can barely be asked to do with the royalties with Square Enix, probably. Anyways, I think this is a game that introduced many people to the idea of RPGs. They bought it because it was Mario, and then they were mega confused why it had turn-based battles. The Batman Arkham Trilogy has been rumored for a long time, and now it's here. Unfortunately, the physical release, only the first game is on the cartridge, while the other two need to be downloaded via an update, not a code. And Arkham Origins, they just couldn't be bothered to pick that one out of the bin. Gloomhaven looks as though it's going to be like a physical release. There's a listing for it on Amazon, although there's no artwork, which is weird, but the signs are good if you like cards and board games and are boring. Just Dance 2024 is getting a code in a box bullshit release. That's becoming as predictable as the game itself. Silent Hope, an action RPG where the characters can't speak, except from when they're like attacking and they're going hi, he, hi, ha. Whatever. I'm convinced they're silent because they didn't want to write any dialogue, and it's a dream come true for the localization team. That's easy, to translate a few menus. Game looks good, and we'll be getting a physical release. Reminds me of the recently released Trinity Trigger. Fae Farm, which looks like the exact same game as the one I just talked about, also getting a physical release. Hot Wheels Unleashed 2, the sequel to a game that I've heard is a bit of a hidden gem, or at least better than people expected it to be, so of course the sequel's coming. Dragon Quest Monsters is finally returning to the West. I'm a huge fan of the original Game Boy Color game, so I'm definitely looking forward to this one, especially since it's a physical release as well. The only disappointment is that I was expecting them to do a reveal of the localization of the original game for the eShop, which has been on the Japanese eShop for years. I want it in English, come on. The translation was done decades ago. Pikmin 4 obviously getting a physical release, but also Pikmin 1 and 2 HD, which were dumped onto the eShop as a shadow drop, also getting a physical release in September. I hope you guys weren't trigger happy downloading it. I'd prefer to wait. It's not that expensive either, and it means you can have Pikmin 1, 2, 3, and 4 physically on the Switch together. What a time to be alive. Metal Gear Solid Collection could have been an easy win, but sadly almost all of the game is a download required, which I kind of understand. It would be tough fitting them all onto one cartridge considering how much they're putting onto here, but then I see the two NES games. Two NES games, Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake, they take up 1.4 gigabyte of space for two NES ROMs. Now that's a special kind of incompetence. Star Ocean, the second story R, is an exciting one. It's getting a physical release. I think I prefer the art style of the first game's remake. This kind of feels overproduced a little bit, but whatever. And the battles look kind of insanely chaotic, just too many nonsense numbers, but I'm sure it's great. I'm just in a bad mood, guys, right now, okay? Just forgive me. WarioWare Moves is obviously getting a physical release. The second Wario game on the Switch looks like it'll be a lot of fun and better than the last one, which I think most people have forgotten about already. And finally, Super Mario Wonder. You'd be more surprised if it wasn't getting a physical release, and frankly, it looks amazing. I love it. I mean, when I first saw Mario, I thought that's weird, but then it just all came together into this wonderful, wonderful art style. I'm excited about that. Alright, obviously there's no community spotlight this week because I've been rambling for like 18 minutes already, whatever. So yeah, I've still got your pictures. Don't send me any more pictures because I got them, alright? And yeah, thank you for watching. Special thanks to our executive producers Dane Wilkinson, God of Resin, Boombox, Brent McLean, Santa Dartaruga, Alexander Cato, JCross7776, Punky Doozer, Cartoon Siren, Robotech, Z, Raven Knight, Thorn Metal Luna, Parsnip Coffee, Issa Vey, Mental Travel, Offbone, Jennifer M, Instacritic, Precision Play, Kadacha, Ozgolo, Totally Grateful, and Alex M, plus you, yeah, you watching right now. If you watched all the way through, please leave me a comment. Yes, just leave me a comment, okay? Leave me a comment telling me your favorite announcement from the Nintendo Direct, because I would like to know what people are excited about, alright? Alright, please go check out some of our other stuff. We don't have a lot of stuff going on because I'm busy working on a bit more Jordan, and yeah, I've been playing a lot of Dino Crisis, and I'm also trying to recover from horrific sunburn. Yes, bye.